Hey everybody, let's get excited about arts and crafts time. Today we're talking about how to make your own advent calendar at home. Now this is something that is totally optional, not required, definitely not even required to celebrate Advent. This is purely a tool. If you would like to have something that is visual in your house, either to help you count down to Christmas, which is very helpful for small kids because if your kids are like mine, they have a hard time with the concept of time. And so it kind of helps them to see when we will actually be opening Christmas presents. But also for me, it gives me good accountability and reminders throughout the day that like, oh yeah, we need to make sure that we have time to read our scripture verse before bedtime. And my kids will remind me like, hey mom, it's time to do the verse. We want to flip our cards. So basically, the sky's the limit on this. You could do something that's a little bit more along the lines of the traditional Advent celebration, which means that you only have a card or something that you do once every Sunday in Advent, and that can go along with the candle lighting if you want. There are the 4 themes of Advent. I'm probably going to get them out of order, but it's hope, peace, joy, and love. I think I might have mixed the last 2 up. Sorry. But anyway, so you could do something just once a week, or you could have a daily countdown. And there are ways to do that are not crafty at all, because you just buy something. Or you can get as DIY Pinteresty as you want. Yesterday I just did a Pinterest search for Advent calendar DIYs, and it's amazing. I want to do it all, and I don't have time to do any of it. So you can just pick and choose what you want to do. But today, I'm specifically going to be talking about ways to make something that goes along with our daily scripture reading with our Advent 2020 Devo. Some of the Devo is specifically inspired by the events of 2020. But the actual scripture reading plan, which takes you from creation through the Christmas story, will work any year. I think it's great for adults, kids, everybody. And so I wanted to make something tangible that we can reuse in the future. So I have invested a little bit of money and research into this, but again, you can make it as simple as you want. So today, on the blog and on all of our social media spaces, you will find free printable cards that will have the scriptures. Again, I've only got week 1 done, but printables for week 1. So there are ones that look like the actual graphics we're going to be using in the countdown if you want something really bright and colorful. Or I've designed these ones that are just a little bit more simple. They're red and green, and they have just the daily verse. You can see they look like that. And so kind of my thought was I would do what I've done in the past, which is you have a printable card for each day, and you'll hang it up somewhere, and you'll start with them all backwards, just with the number of the countdown for Advent on the back. And then each day when you read your verse, you can take it down and you can read it as a family, and then you re-hang it up face forward so that you can see the scriptures as you go along, and that's kind of how you count down. We have done that in the past. I have a wonderfully creative friend who suggested this back when my son was a baby, and so we've been using this Advent calendar. And you can see that on the back side we stamped the numbers counting down the days. And then when you turn them over, I just had handwritten kind of the verses that go along with that, with the address at the top. So it's similar. And you can do them literally in any color that goes along with your Christmas decor, even if you do more of like a blue and silver kind of thing. Totally customizable. With these cards that I've designed, you can either take them and go have them printed on cardstock, which is actually fairly inexpensive. Pretty much any copy place will do that for you. Or what I did, which is very easy, was just printed them on my home computer on a normal piece of white paper and then glued them with a glue stick onto some cardstock that I had bought at my local craft store. And literally they come in like every color. They've even got Christmas specific prints. They've got glitter and everything. So again, you can make it however you'd like. And I just trim the edges. And so there are different things that you can do with these. You can, even if you don't want to hang them up necessarily, you could just stick them on your fridge with a magnet. That's your verse of the day. You can put them in your car. I think these would fit pretty well in if you have one of those phone holders that clips onto your air vents, that way you can be meditating on it throughout the day. You could also do something simple like hole punch the corners and attach some string and hang them on a miniature Christmas tree in your house, so you could make almost an Advent tree instead of an Advent calendar. Or if you want it to be a calendar, you can do that in one of many ways. Again, do a Pinterest search, it's amazing. What we do is I take some ribbon. I think I'm going to change my calendar up and do gold ribbon this year, but buy just some simple fabric ribbon. Make sure it's long enough and turn it into a garland, which you can hang up. We put ours on our mantelpiece of our fireplace, mainly because our kids are too young to be trusted with their stockings being within reach. So we hang those up from like a high bookshelf, and we put our Advent calendar instead up on our mantelpiece. But you could put them over your windows. You could put them along your stair rail if you've got stairs in your house, along your countertop, whatever, wherever it fits. I've seen people do really interesting wall hangings with branches and twigs and lights and whatever. But anyway, create something on which you can hang them. There's also some really cool things with photo frames. You get like a 12 by 16 frame, even like a cheap one from a resale shop. Take the glass out, and you can either string twine or ribbon across to make multiple places where you can hang them, or you could cover the back, like keep the cardboard backing of the frame, but cover it with fabric or wrapping paper or whatever, and glue little hooks on. I love these little miniature clothespins, but there's all kinds of clips available that you could use. Just like hot glue those in a row, and so you'll have the cards there and you can just unclip them and flip them when the time comes, which is kind of cool. Or if you don't want to just use paper, you could like put the cards with chocolate or a treat of some kind in a container and use that as your holder. They've got miniature paper envelopes that you can use, or little gift bags that you can use. You can even buy or make little fabric bags. This was actually the very first iteration of my daily scripture Advent calendar. And so I like drew the number on the front, and then I had alternating red and gold ribbon and hung these up with the little clips, and you pull them down and you open it up and read it every day. And that's it. But when it comes to customizing the numbering on the back, again, there's so many ways to do that. This year, I'm probably going to just draw it myself with a Sharpie. In this case, I got a gold one because I thought gold and red would go well. But if you feel like your handwriting is not that good and don't want to do that, you can buy all kinds of, they've got stickers available at most stores that have numbers on them. You could print them out on your computer and cut and glue them. If you've got a Cricut, you could design something cool out of vinyl and stick them on that way. So anyway, you can just get creative with it. But the reason I think it's worth doing especially if you have kids, is because I very firmly believe that one of the best ways that they learn is through visuals and things that they can touch and feel. And so this is just one more way to kind of activate and engage their minds and get them excited about reading scripture and discussing the Christmas story and the hope that we have in Jesus as a family. So I would love to see pictures of what it is that you guys are doing and creating as a family, things that you've tried in the past that you loved. Again, this is meant to be a sharing community where we can inspire one another. But again, do not feel pressured to do this if you don't have the time or desire or don't feel like it would be helpful for you. I'm not here to give you a to-do list, just inspiration for things if you feel like it would be helpful to you. See you soon.